Robservations with Robert Meyer Burnett.
This one comes from, I like this. I got some geographical distance and new people writing me letters. This one comes from Derick Corey. Hello, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. My name is Derick Corey, and I'm writing to you from the great wide open state of Utah. I've been watching your show for some time now. I was first introduced to you through Collider Heroes, and you quickly became my favorite cast member. Aw, thank you. I admired your calm, reserved, and endlessly knowledgeable view on all things geek related. You have inspired me to delve deeper into my own obsessions and learn more about the history of things like Star Wars, superhero movies, and even Star Trek, even though I thought I knew a lot already. I love hearing that. You know who would have loved hearing that too is John Schnepp, who brought me onto Heroes. So thank you for that. Next month is the year since John passed, and I miss the guy every day. But what he loved was when he heard from other people that said that they were inspired by things that we'd covered. So thank you for that. I have been wanting to write to you for some time. I must admit, the thought of having someone I truly respect and admire read one of my letters to hundreds of people online makes me as giddy as seeing Captain America wielding Mjolnir. Well, almost. However, my reservation in writing came because I felt I had nothing worthwhile to share. I listen to these wonderful letters you read on your show, and I think to myself, that's so insightful and intelligent. I could never write something that would trigger such a great discussion. I could never write something so heartfelt and personal. That is, until I realized I was looking at it all wrong. As I approached the computer today to sit down and finally jam out a letter that has been simmering in my brain for some time now, I found myself wondering, okay, how would John Campea put this? Or how would Willow Yang talk and phrase her thoughts? Then I realized, as great as those people are, it doesn't matter. I knew I needed to write my letter in a way that was most personal to me. I needed to write the notorious RMB a letter from me and me alone. I love this. What follows is an extremely personal, and I hope that it will be what follows is extremely personal, and I hope that it will be treated as such. That being said, here we go. Rob, I want to thank you. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and even the bottom of my soul. I have never before seen a platform like yours that is so dedicated to the passions of the mind and the soul, all wrapped up in a layer of kindness, thoughtfulness, and respect. You approach every letter you read and you approach every letter you read and every experience you encounter with such grace. I appreciate it. You will never know how much an environment like this means to me. Allow me to explain. I am a Mormon. A proud Mormon, a devoted Mormon. As a Mormon, it breaks my heart to see how my religion is treated so often in popular culture. We are ridiculed for our past, mocked for our beliefs, and in the past, and perhaps even now, we've been killed. I do not seek to say that Mormonism has had the worst time, nor say that I myself am subject to as much ridicule and persecution as other religions. Surely, every people, race, creed, and gender have been subjugated to oppression at one point or another. I try desperately to never joke about another religion, even when I'm only trying to be funny, because I know the hurt and embarrassment it can cause. Perhaps Mormons are a little weird. Perhaps I myself am a little weird because not only do I practice this religion, but I also genuinely like the Star Wars prequels. Sue me. When I was a boy living in the secluded suburbs of Utah, I thought that Mormons were just widely accepted and everybody loved us. Sure, I knew that some of my neighbors weren't of our religion, but I never so much as batted an eye at it. They treated us kindly and we treated them kindly. The first interaction I had with someone I knew was not of my religion came in the form of my next-door neighbor when I was merely 5 or 6 years of age. Now, I know this will sound utterly hypocritical, but stick with me. I was nervous when I first met them. They were Catholics, which meant they didn't believe what I believed. They prayed differently. They went to church differently. Heck, they even had different paintings on the wall. One day, my parents had to go out of town for something, and they sent me over to my neighbors for a play date. I was shy at first and perhaps a little uncomfortable as well. That is, until I saw what one of the boys had on the kitchen counter. a Lego slave won. That day flew by because I bonded with a now lifelong friend of mine over a simple Lego Star Wars ship. We spent the entire afternoon playing with that thing and as many other Lego ships and crafts. It was the most fun I remembered having as a small child. I'm sorry to wax long, Mr. Burnett, and I hope you will forgive me. My point is this. Whether you're a Mormon, a Catholic, a Jew, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, white, black, or even orange, we can all bond over movies. My knowledge of Star Wars and movies in general has helped me bridge gaps between many of my peers. As I've grown older, I've realized some of the true hatred in the world directed at Mormonism and religions in general. It kills me, as I'm sure it does for many in the post-geek singularity. Our beliefs are not that dissimilar. I'm sure you will find I was raised to hold three things as the highest law. 1, respect for my mother. 2, serve others whenever possible. 3, watch and love Star Wars if convenient, and if inconvenient, watch it anyway. Religious or not, we're all geeks. We all love movies. Is it too much to ask that the world see us for who we are and what we love rather than judge us by our skin or our religion? That is why I love your channel so much, R&B. For years, I've watched TV, movies, and listened to podcasts, and the moment that anyone mentions Mormons, I tense up because I know what follows will not be good. I've never felt that way with you or the post-geek singularity. Thank you, Rob. Your kindness and respect you show to all peoples mean more to us than you will ever know. Sincerely, your brother in movies, Derick Corey. Well, that says it all right there to me. I mean, it's really interesting. That letter points out something that I've always said, and people that have known me, like whenever I've gone places, like whenever I've gone to the UK, and when I meet Terry for the first time face to face, I'll do the same thing, and he'll remind me that I brought this up once on Robservations, which is when I go to the UK, I can either bring up Doctor Who, the Thunderbirds, or I don't know, the Tripods, some genre show, Blake 7 or something. I can talk about some MI6 or as it was called, or MI5 or as it was called in the UK spooks. If I bring up something, some kind of pop culture touchstone or music, the synth, the British invasion of the early 80s, I'm always looking for a pop culture reference wherever I go that can help break the ice. Like whenever I meet somebody from Japan, I'll talk about Space Battleship Yamato, or I'll sing the song. I'll go Yamato, because that's how it's sung in Japan. Well, not quite like that, and then people go, oh yeah, And I've always found that having my vast knowledge of pop culture has at least helped me bridge the gap. Now, some of these people that I don't quite understand their culture, they're like, oh, that dude's a nerd. I'm sure there's some of that going on, but I think what you just point out is that our baseline is like what you said. Everyone's got a mom. Now, before people are like, do you think that all women should be mothers? No, I don't. But I know one thing. I know all of us have mothers. Until we're being birthed in birthing chambers, like in Logan's Run or however they did that, we've all got moms. And there's a baseline that we can approach everybody with. And I think that is at least openness, kindness, and humanity. If that's our baseline to start. And I understand what you're saying, and it would bum me out if I was defined only as one thing. And I think that nobody is ever one thing. And now these days we're so quick to define people by one facet of their personality. I am pro-choice when it comes to things like a woman's right to choose. And a lot of people have found that surprising since I came so close to never existing. But again, I always believe in the rights of the individual, but I don't necessarily, I will not pillory somebody because they don't believe in abortion. I personally, I don't like abortion. I don't. I think the idea of it is not, it's not great. It's not a good look, but sometimes it is necessary for a number of reasons. And I believe that a person should have that right to choose, but there are people that have huge conviction the other way. And who am I to say that they're wrong? And what we need to do in this day and age is, and religion, all of our religious beliefs, we have to honor those beliefs. The movie Tango Shalom that I'm working on is all about that. The ultimate message is it preaches a intolerance, and that you is bad, and that you should be accepting, and that, like you had said, your next door neighbor who is Catholic and you who are Mormon, your common ground was Star Wars, and you can still have both of your beliefs, and yet you found something that you both can also love, and that's a perfect example of how the power of the post-geek singularity community, the power of this stuff to unite people. And that's the funny thing. In most of my life, I've seen this unite everybody. It was with the advent of social media. It's so funny. Rick Berman, I've said this before, Rick Berman, who produced all of Star Trek from 1987 to 2005, he said once that he's often said that the internet was born through pornography and Star Trek. In 88, my first experience with a BBS service was my college roommate at the time had set up a computer that had 20 people could call in. This is in September of 88. 20 people could call in, and we had a Star Trek BBS where we would just talk. I would literally go online with strangers, and all you had was like green text, and we'd talk Star Trek. And what was so funny was I was like, wow, there's all these people that even if I passed by them on the street, I'd never know who they were. But there's all these people out there, randos, that love Star Trek as much as I do. And it was sort of uplifting. It was the first time I'd really experienced the internet, the greater world out there. And unfortunately, we have a lot of vitriol, but I've always believed, and look, I haven't changed. I didn't come through. This isn't an act that I'm putting on. I mean, this is just me, and I've been this way my whole life. And I've always been like, hey, let's go play Star Wars. Let's go play G.I. Joes. I've always tried to find some common ground because, isn't that what Buckaroo Banzai said? Wherever you go, there you are. And if that's where you are, why not make the most of it? See, the two movies that have sort of the guiding principles of my life, well, Buckaroo Banzai, wherever, there you go, there you are. And Mike Damone. Who is Mike Damone, you may ask? Mike Damone is a character from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And there's a scene in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which is funny because last week I was at a birthday party and we're in a bar and Fast Times at Ridgemont High came on. And I love in bars when if you're a pub owner, you own a bar and you have movies playing, please turn on the subtitles so we can watch the subtitles. I hadn't seen Fast Times, but there's a scene when Mike Damone's trying to tell his friend Mark Ratner on how to act on a date. And his philosophy is, no matter where you go, act like that's the place to be. And then he puts his arm around the Debbie Harry cutout, the full-size Debbie Harry of Blondie cut out at the record store. And he's like, Debbie, isn't this great? And he gestures out to them all. Because, there's a movie, if you guys haven't seen Swingers. Swingers is a great movie that Doug Liman directed, that Jon Favreau wrote. Vince Vaughn, it's Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn's big breakthrough role, but it's all about dudes in LA. It heavily influenced Free Enterprise. But one of the things that was funny about Swingers, it's these guys that go from party to party in LA and they're never happy with the party they're at. They always move to another party. And I had the exact opposite experience when I was younger in Los Angeles, out with my friends. I always would say that, look, man, this party might not be bumping. It might not be what you want, but let's see what we can do here. Let's see what we can have happen. Because I know one thing, if we're driving for another half an hour, that's a half an hour less of the night we have to spend. And who knows who's going to walk through that door in 10 minutes? And who knows what's going to happen as the party rages a little further and people have had a little more to drink, or you just never know. And the thing is, you could spend your whole night in search of something, some transcendent experience that you're never going to have. But if you stay in one place and cultivate what it is you've got going on, I always found, to this day, I've always found that it's better to do that. So anyway, I want to thank you for your letter. And I think that that's what the post-geek singularity is really all about, that everybody can come here and be respected and have their interests. You know what? We are, all of us, we're all looking for our Lego Slave One ships. And I think this is the place to come to find that. and it'll leave you with a great afternoon or a great morning or whenever you listen to this. And I think that's pretty cool.